Well, changing gears, here in Paris, the fifth edition of Africa Fashion Up wrapped up last week. It was the first major Parisian event dedicated to contemporary African fashion, aiming to promote and encourage this booming scene. It also offers a springboard for young and up-and-coming designers from the continent. This year, it recognized and awarded 5 designers selected from over 300 applications. Among the laureates is the talented Ethiopian designer Hawi Midekssa, and I'm now pleased to welcome her to the program. Hawi, great to have you with us. Welcome to France 24.
Thank you so much. It's truly an honor to be here. Really, thank you so much.
Likewise. First, to give us an introduction to who you are, what you do, and where you're based.
Of course. So like you said, my name is Hawi Sisay Midekssa. I am born and raised in Ethiopia, but I'm currently based in Paris, and I am the founder and creative director of Hawi. And yeah, that's all.
So your namesake brand is very interesting in the sense that, it blends your Ethiopian heritage with kind of an international flair. Yeah. Where do you find your sources of inspiration for your pieces? I believe that you're wearing one of your unique pieces today.
1000%. For me, blending Ethiopian heritage and also my family's background, and I'm very much rooted in identity, individuality, and independence, because growing up, I'm a twin. So having that identity for me was always the aim, and building that name for myself was always the encouragement to continue fashion. And how we was born out of that. It was born out of needing my own independence and my own identity, so that's why Hawi was born. And Hawi also means wish, my name, because I named it after myself, which means wish. And my ethnic group, Oromo, that's that. Yeah.
That's beautiful. So what kind of, stories do you aim to tell through your pieces? Is there like a message that you try to deliver through fashion?
1000%. For example, we can take the recent collection, which is titled Adola. It's a small city where my mom was born. This was a story that was born out of a letter that I gave her when I was 15 years old. So I saw that letter when I went back home a few years ago, and I was like, I want to change that into a collection for me to say, I said thank you, because at that time when I was 15, that was the only way that I could say thank you and I love you through letter. So for me, always communicating my family's heritage, my culture, it's a way of introducing Ethiopian culture to the world, For example, this is like a block printed vest. So you can ask, where did you do it? What is this element, So I could introduce you, it's an alphabet block printed. So for me, it was always communicating my heritage and culture through my art.
Really an expression of your culture and really your identity.
Exactly.
So your work's been showcased, in Paris and New York as well. You've also collaborated with international brands, artists, and publications. But what's been your most exciting experience in fashion so far?
It's going to be African Fashion Up for now, because being the first winner to even win 2 awards, Best Female Designer for the first time, and Best Designer from all the 5 laureates, which were incredible designers, for me that really holds a good step and motivation, because all the juries were really incredible from different sectors, and being that finalist for me is really one of the best thing that happened so far. And even in terms of, I've collaborated with Mohammed Ramadan, which is for African World Cup opening ceremony, and even seeing my garments through a big stage celebrating Ethiopian culture and Africa in general has been really one of the best accomplishments so far.
That must have been amazing.
Really.
But speaking of collaboration, is there any particular, creative or a fashion house that you'd like to collaborate with in the future?
1000%. It would be Yoji Yamamoto. He has been one of my really inspiration growing. He really tells his story in a very calm and subtle way. He doesn't follow trends, but he creates it. So for me, whenever I build my brand, it's through that. So definitely Yoji Yamamoto would be one of those
I can kind of see notes of Yoji Yamamoto in the current design that you're wearing, actually.
Exactly.
So where do you see yourself, in the near future or the further down in your career? I read also that you are perhaps considering establishing a fashion school in Ethiopia. Is that a project that's on the horizon?
1000%. Because for me, even now, I mentor a lot of Ethiopian designers and diaspora community as well. Because coming to Paris, it was to build my my fashion brand, but also gain that skill. So I really we might not have that opportunity for us to get a good education. So build building a fashion school has been one of like the most motivational thing that I want outside the brand, you know. So definitely having more of us and having more of the Ethiopian designers' voice heard would be my truly accomplishment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it sounds like you've had an amazing trajectory so far, but have you faced any challenges as a young African business owner and creative in the industry?
1000%. We can start from the cultural shock, you know, coming from Ethiopia where you have your family in the house, like, and coming to an empty house here, it might be a little bit not sad, but it can be really heavy on you, but you build yourself through that, right? So for me, I think the cultural shock, but you build your community here in Paris as well. So it's a bit of both worlds, you know? So I feel like that cultural shock has been one of the most intense one, and even as a designer coming from Africa, there are like limitations that you might have, you know, in terms of investments, in terms of like coming across a lot of business-wise, but I've been trying my best.
Yeah. Do you have a message for younger designers that perhaps, you know, are hoping to walk a similar career path to yours, or any young and up-and-coming designers? What kind of message do you have for them?
Honestly, don't give up, because when I won African Fashion Up, it was my third time applying. So definitely I would say don't give up. There might be restriction along the way. There might be a lot of limitation around the way, but you really have to open your mind and really wish for the best, and everything will come accordingly. So yeah, don't give up would be my message.
All right, great message indeed. Hawi Midekssa, thank you so much for coming on the program today. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. Okay.